Call to order the City Council regular meeting for the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, February 2nd, 2026. Let the record reflect, we do have a quorum. Member Luker, Member Onstad, Member Schilling, Member Yeager, and Mayor Iverson are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first on the agenda is open forum. Is there anybody here for the open forum? Seeing none, we'll move on to number one, approval of minutes. Number one, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for January 20th, 26. If there are no changes or comments, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Did you get who said that? Sorry, I didn't say it was. Okay, sorry. All right, moving on to number two, to consider resolution 260217, a resolution to vacate an easement between properties located at 7346 255th Street and 7384 255th Street. Mr. Linwood, will that be you?
I'll be taking that one.
Who's saying that?
I'll be taking that one.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this is a public hearing. This item is a public hearing. The city has received an application for a vacation of easement from the Teresa M. Hubert Revocable Trust for the easement located between properties 7346 and 7384 on 255th Street. We seem to have lost the applicant. 1 second while I pull that
I was
back
gonna say,
up.
it looked like he froze.
Oh, my Zoom just maybe crashed. Yes, 1 sec, sorry, Zoom has crashed. I have the applicant back in Zoom. I'm going to reopen it so we can see them on the screen. Now we can't open this one. Well, we seem to be, okay, you can hear me on our side. Let's see. Looks like we're having internet connectivity issues. I'm not able to get it back up on the screen. Mr. Huber, can you hear us? Yeah, I was going to go there next. Yeah, so I'll continue then. Mr. Huber, if there's questions for him, the applicant is on screen with me. So if there are questions, I'll just relay them in. Okay, apologies for that. The easement application that we received to vacate runs between the two properties as mentioned and are owned by the applicant, and it's comprised of a 5-foot drainage utility easement on both sides of the property line. The vacation of the easement is needed to allow the applicant to construct a dwelling on their preferred location of the properties. Staff and engineering staff as well have reviewed the application and made one small change, which is the change of the original number of feet that they stated were 331.68 proceeding from the north-facing side, which has been reduced to 311.68 feet. And that's just to accommodate for the standard 10-yard or 10-foot rear yard easement required of all city lots. So staff has completed their review of the application. I recommended approval on that.
Okay, so is this our easement and they bought both lots, or what? I mean,
so the property owner owns both lots. Since
Okay.
they're two separate lots, there's typically an easement, the utility easement that runs between them, the 5 feet on each side.
got
So
it.
they just want to join these two lots to be able to put a house on the spot, which is highlighted in the packet
yeah,
as well.
okay, got it. I just needed to make sure it wasn't two separate entities, all that kind of stuff. So perfect. Okay, that's all my questions. Member Luger, questions?
No questions.
Member Onstad?
I'm just assuming it's gonna be a double-sized lot then compared to every other lot in the neighborhood?
Correct.
Okay, and that's the only change is that it's gonna be on what was the former easement?
Yeah, it'll be on the property line and easement as of right now, but that will go away with this application and then right
Got it,
there.
okay, now it makes sense.
Okay, Member Schilling?
I actually do not have any questions for this.
Okay, Member Yeager?
So the two lots are gonna be combined into one with one house on them?
Yep. That's
Okay,
correct.
and then, given the wetland in the vicinity of the property, will losing the drainage easement adversely affect anything? Because you have a wetland draining into there?
So the applicant's shaking their head no. We had Public Works and our engineering staff look at this as well as the zoning administrator and building official Fred Weck, and no comments were raised or concerns were raised regarding that.
Okay, cool, thanks.
All right, do we need to open up for public hearing? Okay, so we need to go into the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
So,
We have a motion by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
second.
Second by Member Onstead. All in favor?
Aye.
We are in the public hearing. Is there anybody here who would like to speak onto this vacating of easement? All right, seeing none, we need a motion to come out of the public hearing back into the regular meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Second by Member Onstead. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are back into regular session. So we need a motion to approve Resolution 260217, a resolution to vacate an easement between properties located at 7346 255th Street and 7384 255th Street. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstead. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. All right, consent agenda. We will approve all at one time unless somebody wishes to pull anything. Consent agenda is 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Does anybody wish to pull an item? No? Okay, I would like our applicant, Ken Rutherford, to come up real quick. How are you tonight?
Doing good, up yourself.
Good. Just a couple questions. I know I was at the planning commission when you were there too, so there's
Not a
just a
problem.
couple questions, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's for planning, so, yep. You wrote a great letter. My question is on a couple things. One of them was you had a lot of ideas. What are some ideas that you have for planning commission for this particular board?
I look at the growth of our town and where we're gonna go and where we're at now. We need to grow onto some more businesses here to help our taxes, and how can we work together as a team to get these businesses in here in our beautiful industrial parks. We got 2 of them well open, looking at the freeway. How can we present it to these other people? At the same time, with that just taxes, that's gonna also help our schools along with our other parts of our community at the same time. As I reach out myself to our community to help out during stagecoach days, I bring up my own personal antique tractors and my trucks and cars up here for everyone to enjoy. And to me, it's giving back what I can give back there into the community. That's how I can sit there and help here. And my other ideas I have, I ponder different weird things at night. How can we make, not taxes, but different ways of the city can make more money or help lower our taxes later down somewhere down the line and bring in the community of all cultures and everyone feels safe and happy in our community.
Okay, thank you. And one last question. You did also mention saving money. What ideas do you have for planning to help us save money?
And some of the stuff that I see what we have spent our money on in the past, it kind of erupts me. One of the things, we have a street sweeper that's sitting there. How can we let that thing make our money? We pay for this thing, we pay for somebody to get trained on it, we pay for somebody to run this thing. Can we benefit this out of the city of Linwood to clean up theirs? You know, renting out our guy to them and our piece of machinery so we recover some of that money out of this. Same thing of other, Stacy and other towns around. We're watching a company down on Forest Lake that did us before at a really reasonable price as I compared to other places that have done. Why can't we recoup that? Which saves the city money, saves the wages on a person, make them do something instead of sitting around the shop going, pushing a broom, and it saves the taxpayers money.
Okay, perfect. Well, that was my only questions. Anybody else have a question for the applicant?
Nope.
No,
Seeing
I'm
none?
I like
glad
your
you
letter.
applied.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so we need a motion to approve 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Acknowledge of receipts of reports, officer boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Number 13, to consider resolution 260220, a resolution approving an interim conditional use permit to operate a cannabis microbusiness at 7745 Wyoming Trail. Applicant Tyler Zarazek, did I say that correctly? Thank you. Property ID 21.00358.00. Mr. Linwood?
Yes, I will be handling that tonight. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As just stated, this is for the interim use permit for cannabis microbusiness at 7745 Wyoming Trail. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm in control of this. I was waiting for Mr. McFarland, and that wasn't correct. Overview, this is a request for an interim conditional use permit. Cannabis microbusinesses are allowed within the agricultural district, and the property was recently rezoned to agricultural. The site characteristics, it's approximately 5.10 acres. The proposed location off of 7745 Wyoming Trail currently has residence and agricultural outbuildings. And for this particular project, there would be 2 greenhouse buildings to be south with a semi-trailer for processing. The semi-trailer not supported. The CUP standards and development issues, it does conform with the comprehensive plan and is compatible with adjacent uses. Will not impact or harm existing uses and properties. Site and structures still need to be constructed, and the ordinance allows use for the compliance of IUP standards. And then there are conditions in there regarding odor, lighting, and water use. IUP standards, here you can kind of see in regards to the setup in this, in regards to the 9,000 square feet of the flowering canopy there in the diagram, and it goes through a little bit of that in regards to security cameras, ID lot, security doors, security window bars, smoke alarm, carbon monoxide detectors, motion alarms, basically in regards to what they need to be in compliance with state standards. But in regards to the city components, it conforms with their zoning regulations. The staff and the planning commission recommending that the IUP be terminated with change of owner, sale of property, or loss of state license or after 10 years. Permission will not impose additional costs to the public. The recommendations, the applicant shall adhere to all setback requirements for the agricultural district. The development of the site must comply with all representations of the applicant and application materials, specifically relating to lighting, outdoor water use, and employee count, and provide proper maintenance of the system to ensure compliance. The property needs to comply with all applicable local, state, and federal regulations necessary for operations of a cannabis microbusiness, including meeting all zoning ordinance requirements. The IUP will terminate upon the sale of the property, a change in business ownership, or if the applicant does not maintain his license through the Office of Cannabis Management. The permit will expire on January 1st, 2036. Fence installation around the cannabis use, storage and operations, building comply with zoning and building code regulations, work with the city engineer for grading and stormwater runoff, and final site plan submittal for staff review and approval. Recommendations, as I earlier stated, for city staff and planning commission, as they had this application go before them last week, are to recommending approval for the request with the conditions listed in the staff report and resolution.
Okay, all right, questions from council. We'll start with member Onstad.
In the city, we have other businesses that have, if I recall, 1 employee on site. And that's all that we would allow.
For the other business similar to this that we approved, that was the status of that when there was 1 employee, correct?
I can think of a couple that we may have had, but I don't think it needs to go into that right now.
The most recent, yeah.
Yeah, this is looking like they're gonna have 6 employees.
I believe that is correct. I don't know if the applicant wants to confirm if that's correct or appropriate.
Need to introduce myself?
I'm sorry?
We want to turn the mic on.
I think that would be that was part of the condition that can have up to 6, but I'll let the applicant speak for himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go
All right,
ahead.
yeah, so we may have up to 6 employees, depending on needs at the time, but no more than that. We should be shuffling around more than that many people.
Would that wouldn't be 6, like all year round and just maybe 6 at harvest or,
Yeah, that may be 6 in peak,
okay.
so just in peak times, but more than likely we'll be well below that.
My biggest concern would be that we'd have 6 people there all the time when we have other companies in town that are allowed 1. Granted, I think those are more in residential areas rather than agricultural.
Yeah, no, you know, it's an agricultural thing, so sometimes you need more than one pair of hands.
Oh, exactly.
Moving
Is there
plants.
places that are gonna be built for them to, break rooms, restrooms?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we will adhere to all state and county recommendations.
Okay.
If we need to have a biffy on site, then we do, during the harvest time, outdoor harvest or anything, but the house is not too far away, so,
Yeah,
they could always use the house.
That raised a red flag that you'd be using the house as opposed to a professional building.
Well, if more than one person has to use the restroom at that time, I don't see an issue with them running into the house to use the bathroom, given that the owners say it's okay, obviously.
Okay.
Not planning on that,
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, how often is, like, during harvest? I would assume it's kind of like, regular agricultural with crops, like wheat or something that, I know that, farmers that are doing that are harvesting once a year. How often would you be harvesting? I'm just kind of curious.
So I could be anywhere from 3 times to 6 times.
A year?
Yeah,
Oh, that's not that much.
no.
Okay.
Depends on cultivation scheme we plan to use, and how often we plan to harvest, but no more than 6. You can't,
And that's the peak time, I would assume, is during harvesting.
correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Perfect. Member Schilling?
I actually have no questions. We've seen a lot of this well before this, and I thought the report was very detailed, and I didn't have anything to ask, so thank you.
Okay. Member Yeager?
Oh, got a ton of them. So now, same cannabis idea, but with a different applicant this time?
No, I'm the horticultural scientist that'll be running the
Okay,
cultivation.
there was a different name on the last.
Yeah, and it's still Tyler, and that was on the application of Brandon. They're gonna be overseeing it. And then they have a couple guys that'll work. Kelly and I are gonna be watching over the product as it grows. So it's just gonna be that 35 to 40 days when the product, I guess, is ready for harvest.
Yeah.
That's when we'll need help to come.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you're going from the first open field idea to greenhouses?
Greenhouses, yes.
We might supplement with an open field depending on space and availability. It really boils down to how much money it costs, small businesses and what you can and can't spend and what you
Yeah.
want to spend, yeah.
Okay, so next question, the conditions includes the installation of fencing. There was something in the planning commission minutes about a 6-foot fence, but an 8-foot fence was mentioned.
It depends on some of the front and side setbacks, so usually side can be 6 and then for back can be 8. I don't know if it referenced, I guess I did not look at those minutes to see the reference there other than the application materials.
I was there. What was the question?
In the minutes, it talked about an 8-foot fence, and then I know our standard is a 6-foot fence, so
Yeah, and I
is it
don't
gonna be
know where
6,
that-
is it gonna be 8?
Yeah, I don't know where that 8-foot came from.
Okay,
From everything from the state side of it is a 6-foot fence, cameras every 30 yards.
okay, so it's gonna be a 6-foot fence.
6-foot fence, and there will be pickets in it,
It'll be a privacy.
privacy
fence.
fence,
Okay,
so slats.
cool.
I do, excuse me, but I do think at the planning commission, it was 6 and 8. You guys hadn't decided yet.
No, I don't even know where that came from.
Okay,
It was almost 6. All the
Okay.
information that we turned in was 6.
6, okay,
Okay,
And planning commission brought up 8,
yeah,
6 or 8, and I don't, but it's 6.
Okay.
6-foot fence.
okay, cool.
Chain link, yeah.
And then there was a mention of security fencing in the staff report. What, is there a difference between what you're putting up and security fencing?
I think in regards to the component to comply with the state statute, that the chain link is acceptable in regards to quote-unquote security fence, so.
But there's no difference between them. Whatever they're doing is fine.
Correct, that is my understanding, that that chain link fence does meet the criteria as essentially having a type of fence that can be acting as that barrier,
It has to
from
be
security,
slotted.
and it has to be, but it has to be slotted too for
And
screening.
The state doesn't want us to have like somebody to put like a wooden fence up or like a sheet fence or anything like that.
Yeah, if I can just jump in, the Office of Cannabis Management has security protocols that they have to adhere to, and the fencing, they have specific fencing requirements, so they're gonna have to adhere to the state requirements, as he's indicating, and so they, the application and the approval of the permit will require all of that to be met, so they've set forth those security criteria through the OCM.
I didn't know if there was a difference between security fencing and regular
I
chain
think-
link fence.
I think in the definition on OCM, so they have to be 6 feet, but they have to be a commercial or security grade. So that's different from like your normal residential or
Yeah.
agricultural. They're a little more beefed up, and that'll be to comply with that state and the OCM standards for that. Which
Okay,
I'm
so-
assuming the applicant is well versed in.
So that's basically it. The fence has to be a security grade rather than what's in the backyard.
Like a residential or agricultural, correct?
Yes.
Cool. And then, are the staff's lighting and odor concerns adequately addressed in condition number 2? I'm concerned about neighbors complaining.
Yes, they were. We have filtration systems put on each of the greenhouses with light filtration on each greenhouse also.
I saw that, yeah.
Yep, so I don't know if you need any more information on that.
No, I just want to make sure it's all adequate, that we're not going to have neighbor complaints go down the line.
In speaking, and speaking with Mr. Weck in regards to what they have to do in regards to the state regulations, of what they were proposing were adequate to, both for the lighting and for the potential smell that these would keep that contained within the site area.
Okay, cool.
And there was some notes from our neighbors that gave a recommendation that they were fine with it, so.
Okay,
And that should be in your guys' paperwork also.
I don't recall seeing that, so, but that's okay. Will the private well be adequate to meet the increased needs of the business?
Say that again?
Will your existing well,
Yes.
your private well, be adequate to meet the water demands on having this
Yes.
growing cannabis?
It's gonna come up to 250 gallons every 2 days with a wick system, drip system, irrigation.
Okay,
So Fred looked at it, and I think they could have used up to 10,000 gallons per day. So we ain't even coming close to
oh,
that.
okay, cool. So we don't need to talk about if there's a plan, if it's not.
Yep. And he said that there was no extra permitting through the Department of Natural Resources Watershed District for that.
Okay. And then, are you still gonna be doing tour groups? And if you are, is there gonna be adequate, like a lot of separation?
It's gonna be separated.
Yeah, between the cannabis and the tour groups?
Yep.
Yeah, Office of Cannabis Management doesn't allow touring, those kinds of operations.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's gonna be, that's why we're setting it way in the back.
okay,
So we can have the greenhouse up front that we run as a Wasco Farm and Garden greenhouse that we've been running for 30 years. Because we do school,
yeah.
so yes, we want to keep it totally separate.
So the kiddies aren't gonna see,
No, they're not going to see it, they're not going back to it.
and they're not gonna smell it, and
And
they're
they're
not
not
gonna.
gonna smell. We want to keep it down low too. I mean, we don't want a bunch of people knowing about it just because it's
Yeah.
one of them deals, so. And it seems like everybody knows about it already, so I don't, every place I go, how's it going? So,
Cool. You gonna be having trucks coming to the property?
No, it's gonna be, 2 delivery trucks with soil.
Yeah, yields won't be that high. You talking like hay bale trucks? Or-
No, I'm talking, apparently,
Semis.
are you gonna be processing the product on your property?
Yeah, but it won't require large trucks.
Okay, but I assume that you were gonna have a truck that's gonna come take the product to wherever you're gonna sell it.
Yes, but they won't be large semi-trucks.
So there'll be small trucks.
Yeah, messenger vans at the largest, maybe a panel van, depending on the service.
We could only wish we had semis coming in there and hauling product.
And how often do you expect them?
Every 45 days.
Yeah, depending on the harvest scheme.
Okay. And then The planning commission's minutes say that the city would get a small kickback from allowing sales of the product in the city. Is that comment talking about retail sales?
If that was tongue in cheek, I don't know if it was
No.
tongue in cheek and it made the minutes, but
Oh,
that would not
okay.
be, that would not be the case at all, no, for anything like that, it requires a retail sales license,
And
so.
the comment was made just because the state has a small fund or something. Mr. Lunan, you might know this a little bit better. There's some type of small fund that the sellers or the growers pay into, and then it gets distributed among the cities or the state. I think
Originally.
that's what it
That
was,
was the
that's what they
original.
were talking
It
about.
was most likely a tongue in cheek. There's a very small
Yeah.
amount the city may receive, but not any direct benefit from the city.
Yeah.
That's not a consideration here.
Okay, I did, so when it made the minutes, I mean, it caught my eye.
Yeah, it
The way it
wasn't
was
stated
phrased.
correctly.
Because I was gonna ask how small the kickback was.
And I don't think kickback is the right word for it.
Well, that's what's in the minutes.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
So what the heck? I don't know if the planning commission approved it that way.
No, I hope not, that'd be illegal.
And do you anticipate establishing a retail spot in the city at a later date?
Yes, they do have licenses and that, they're looking at different locations right now, but they don't have anything.
Oh, okay,
lined up
but
for that.
you're looking.
They are looking, yes.
Okay, okay. That's all I had.
Member Luger?
I have no questions.
Okay, I have a few. Okay, so who owns the license?
Tyler,
Who owns the I'm sorry,
Tyler. and-
Tyler.
Yes.
Okay, so not you
No, I.
and not you.
No,
Okay. So, and Tyler has not been here, or was he here at the first meeting?
no, Tyler has not been here.
Okay, and where does Tyler live? I mean,
Tyler is in California,
okay,
and then his partner, Brandon, lives in Florida, and he also has an apartment here. He's gonna be moving up to Minnesota to oversee it.
who's Brandon?
Brandon is Tyler's partner.
And we haven't met him yet
No, we
either.
haven't met him either.
Okay. And how did they get in touch with you?
I think they were looking on Google Maps and calling people in the area that had smaller chunks of land that was not right up by the road, kind of back in.
Yeah,
And they were just doing a search at that time.
okay. And you have to remind me who you are again, because I know your role, but your name again is?
I'm Brian Jones.
Okay, and Brian, so you,
Bryant,
Bryant, sorry. Bryant, you state that you are, I'm gonna say professor of growing cannabis. I know there's a special title to that. So where else have you worked to grow cannabis and, you know, what other places have you worked within?
I've held licenses in 3 different states, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Alabama, and this is my home state. I also have a license here as well. I also serve on the Cannabis Advisory Council. I'm the state's representative for cannabis cultivation.
Okay, and will you be moving here to Wyoming? Or you're working on the farm? I'm trying to get all the players here, so
Yeah,
that's,
no,
trying to understand.
I won't move to Wyoming. I have a house in Apple Valley.
Okay.
So I will oversee cultivation operations.
Okay. Mr. Lunan, my question is this, and maybe whoever can answer this. I know there's, one of the statements is if that license is sold. How would we know if that license is sold if the applicants are not in our state?
That, if the license is sold, one, it's a social equity license, so it can't leave hands for 3 years. That's the state's law.
Okay.
And once it does, then you guys will have to be notified immediately.
The state will notify us, or you guys will?
We will personally notify you. Unless you know that that property, if someone else were to show up there, we wouldn't want them to be fraudulent on our part.
Yeah.
So say, we are still a cannabis business, so we would be in trouble then. So it would be in our best interest to let you guys know.
Okay.
As soon as license is changing.
And the current license owners, how many other cannabis, I'm gonna say farms, do they have? Do they have other ones?
Yeah.
How many do they have?
Operations in California, Florida.
But none here in Minnesota, this will be the first.
No, ma'am, this is the first.
Okay, and then, the semi-trailers, cause that's a big deal, right? So what have you come up in place of those semi-trailers?
I have a pole barn that's 30 by 45, we're gonna use that instead,
Okay,
so. that's
And-
what we're-
okay. And will that meet what planning had talked about, Mr. Lunan? Because we weren't supposed to, they can't have semi-trailers, so I just want to see if, because at that time you didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to if that's going to meet criteria. What do you currently have in that pole barn?
My vehicles.
Okay.
Just 1 second, Mayor.
Yeah.
On the-
If they won't let us use semi-trailers, can we use a pod? Would that be an
I don't
option?
think so.
Ones or not.
Okay.
No, so,
'Cause I'm just kinda wondering how you guys passed someone a block down the road and they were gonna use a semi-trailer for their curing and processing.
I don't think so, because I don't think we can use that at all. We'd have to go back and look, but that was my understanding is with this, semi-trailers, that's not allowed.
That's different. There's regulations that would be a little different.
Or no, it's not hemp, it's cannabis.
Oh, it's-
Yep, and they were gonna process and,
I don't,
I
I
thought
was
they
sitting for that
did.
one.
I thought they did too.
I
I
thought
don't
they,
know.
it was a part of the approval. They used it for
For the
curing and
other one.
drying, yep.
Okay, and then why aren't they allowed to use it then?
Yeah, can we double check that?
Because you remember that way, right? We allowed them to
I
do
don't
the
remember
semi.
that way, so, because I don't know why we would allow one and not the other.
I mean, it's a big, long container on wheels. It's nice. They work great for it, so. Mhm.
It was more, I believe it was more that they were coming in with, according to this, I'm just looking at the application review, is the semi-trailer gonna be permanent on site and not actually just being used for transportation?
yeah, it'll be for storage.
I was gonna say, it'll still move, but,
Yep.
Well, the conditions would prohibit a semi-trailer for storage.
yeah.
So I guess the question then would be the definition of semi-trailer and whether or not the size they're using would qualify as a semi-trailer. And I'd have to go look at the code and see if the city has a definition within our own code ordinance as to what length would qualify as a semi-trailer. For what it sounds like you're more so looking at more of a box truck.
Well, not a box truck neither, they're called pods. It's the size of a semi-trailer with no chassis on it. So they bring it in a flatbed, they dump it, they set it right on the ground, you can walk right in and out. You don't have to worry about steps or any kind of safety rails going up into it. They use these things on every construction site around.
Basically, it says the storage and operations building shall comply with appropriate building code requirements and use of a semi-trailer for storage is prohibited.
For storage.
Right,
Because
so
it's saying
I actually have a
storage instead of
question,
storage.
cause these are, as he had said, we use these in construction all the time. It sits on the back of a large trailer. It is called a storage container and/or cargo container, and it's used to facilitate the drying process, I'm gonna assume.
Correct, yeah.
So I view that as part of the storage, but my definition of what they're planning on using is not a semi-trailer. It's a cargo container, storage container.
So then we have a verbiage issue.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking Mr. Lunan, because we don't allow pods in the city I work in, but we allow they call them big giant storage pods. They're not pods, but they're cargo containers. I mean, they're 40 feet long. We bought a couple of them just to keep. Because we use them for that sole purpose of storage.
Well, it says use a semi-trailer for storage, et cetera. That et cetera is kind of weird too. It's
Yeah.
I
permanent.
agree that it creates an ambiguity that would not necessarily be beneficial for you, it probably wouldn't be beneficial for the city. We may wanna look at revising the verbiage, perhaps Councilmember Schilling, wants to just shift that, as you stated, certainly we'd have the minutes here, because semi-trailer, I think, can be broadly construed.
Yep.
And again, just for the benefit of you guys to make sure we have clarity, and if we're looking more so at like a cargo storage or cargo trailer, is I think how you described it.
Yep, because they lift them off the flatbed and they set them in place.
So what if council is inclined, I suppose my recommendation would be to modify the condition number 6, maintain
Write
that
that
use
down.
of a semi-trailer for storage shall be prohibited.
Yes.
However, the property may use cargo trailer, yeah, go ahead.
So, okay, cargo, basically it's a cargo container, and I'll give you a little further, because it has to meet the requirements of the building code. ICC now recognizes them and has their entire code now on storage container builds. We literally build homes out of these now because they meet the building code requirements. So I think we call it an actual storage container. It's not a semi-trailer. It's
Okay.
completely separate from wheels. You'll see semis driving around with the flatbeds that hold these containers, but ICC and the building code recognize them as meeting code requirements, wind load rating, structural loads. They use them to build houses now. I have 3 of them now in the last 5 years that have been built out of homes that have been built out of these.
These are the same containers that they use on ships.
Correct.
And,
Those are cargo.
and they're
containers.
stronger than I think a semi-trailer in the
100%.
fact that they have to be stacked.
Yep, and a
10 or more
semi-trailer
high.
is light aluminum thin. These things are heavy corrugated steel.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes, these things are no joke. They're legit.
Verbiage matters.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I got a couple more questions, so you need to
Okay.
write that down.
Because I think that's what the other
Could be,
was going to use.
yeah, okay.
Can we confirm what we approved in the other site?
The one that was a couple months ago.
So just kind of go off of Councilmember Schilling and make sure that we are on the same page with what you guys are intending. You know, that condition, specifically condition 6, does specifically state, storage and operation of the building shall comply with appropriate building code requirements. And if what Councilmember Schilling and in his professional experience in his job understands the building code more than anybody here without Administrator Weck, that the building code would identify a difference between a semi-trailer, as we know it, and what these gentlemen will be using on the property for their operations.
Yep.
Because the condition does reference to the building code. And so if you're saying that the building code does specify that out, then I think it is covered under here and can be fine, because the building code is referenced, it has to comply with that. If you're saying that that's what's out there, then
Yep.
you would, yeah.
Yep.
So in your application, did you specifically state that you were gonna have a semi-trailer though?
I think Tyler put semi-trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the issue.
That's why.
Okay,
So
so
we just
my,
modify the condition.
well, yeah, as long as we can put on there, I mean, if we go out and check the business and it's a semi-trailer, then you're not in compliance, right? So, I mean, that's kind of vague. So my other question, if you work on that,
No, you go ahead.
my other question is, you just referenced open space, that you would like to do some open space for cannabis. So that's on your property, I'm assuming?
Yes, but we are going for the 2 greenhouses now, because the licenses, well, that's what we can grow is them 2 greenhouses.
Okay, so when does the open space come in then?
What's that?
When are you thinking, tell me more about that open space, because then you don't have odor control, you don't have all that kind of stuff, so.
I don't know anything about that, and I wouldn't go for that. I wanna see what the turnaround is on this.
Yeah, okay, okay.
You know.
Mr. Lunan, open space, what is that,
That was just a reference to, so under the license, you are okay to grow half an acre, so that was just stated, just because under the license, that's what you can do. So
Okay.
it's not like something that we're just shooting from the hip and saying we're just gonna.
okay, because it does smell, and when you do have families come in, I would not be in favor for that, right? That would be my no-go on that, if that's what you're planning on doing. So it was brought up, so that's why I'm questioning that.
No, that was just stated just because it was part of the licensing.
Okay,
Wouldn't wanna mislead anyone.
okay, all right. And then, Mr. Linwood, does Mr. Weck go out and make sure all of this is,
In regards to the IUP, yes, that's part
Okay.
of that. And then
And-
Office of Cannabis Management will as well.
okay, and so it'll be more than just a one-time visit? It could be a spot check at any point in time?
He has, schedules in regards for CUPs or IUPs to check those. I know he isn't here to speak on his behalf for that, but yes.
Okay, that'll be done. Okay, my last question is this, and I kind of referenced to that, is I do worry about, you do have a lot of kids that come and that sort of thing. There's gonna be odor no matter what, right? I mean, there'll be some.
What they're telling me, or you wanna?
Yeah, so you can't control, I mean, it's a act of God, you know, with the way the wind blows, if someone opens the door at that moment, I
Yeah.
can't control that, but.
Right.
for the most part, odors will be mitigated
Yeah.
as much as we can without containing the whole situation under a dome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but odors themselves are non-toxic, just for the council's reference. They don't alter the brain chemistry at all. It's a scent. So there's nothing to be necessarily worried about with smelling cannabis, but I catch your drift, and I will make sure that we will not stink up the neighborhood. That's
Yeah.
not our objective.
As somebody who does not smoke and it's around a lot of different places, think the state fair, it's kind of obnoxious. So I don't want kids to be smelling that when they're on your farm, if you understand what I'm saying.
It's gonna be a different smell, but what you're smelling at the state fair
Yeah,
is smokable.
Smoke
Yeah.
is different.
Okay.
We're gonna be growing.
okay. But it does still have an odor, correct? At some point in time.
Smells like a skunk.
Very much so.
I would not know, so,
The plant smells like a skunk. That's the best way to describe it. When you smoke it, it's a completely different
yeah,
scent.
okay. All right, that is all the questions that I have. So, thank you, appreciate that. All right, are there any further questions? Okay. Then we need a motion to approve Resolution 260220, a resolution approving an interim conditional use permit to operate a cannabis microbusiness. Do you have an addition you want to add to that?
So do we just modify that condition 6 to eliminate semi-trailer?
Yes, and I think the building code is an important component of
Yeah.
that, to make sure it's an
And
allowable
Yep,
use.
and I already know they do. I'll actually pull the code and send it, if Fred doesn't have it. The only reason I have it is because we've had 3 homes built from them, so.
And then also for the other application, there was like a construction trailer that was utilized as an office, so that's the trailer reference for the other application, just for
Okay,
clarification on that.
that makes sense.
I guess I have one other question, though. So none of this takes place until all these conditions. They can't start anything until the conditions are met, correct?
Correct, the use is conditioned upon
Yeah.
them meeting all those requirements.
All those requirements, okay.
So we just strike the semi-trailer for storage container,
Well, then you need to state that.
ICC, building code.
Yeah, I think,
I don't know how we want
as
to.
long as we're I mean, I think we have a
Actually, you want a
reference right
motion?
now.
Yeah,
All right, what you want to move is that you will move for passage with the revised condition number 6,
Yep.
where the phrase "use of semi-trailer for storage, et cetera, is prohibited" is stricken.
that's actually the best way to do it.
Okay, so I think that is then a motion. I don't know if you're formulating that motion, or
Are you making the
suggesting
first
that
motion,
Councilor Schilling
Linda?
makes
You
the
can make it, you just said it,
And
I'm
then
not
you
gonna
can
repeat
second
you,
it.
because I'll second it.
Fine,
Okay,
All right, you
Did
made
it-
the motion, I'll second the motion.
okay,
you got it?
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Rob, just let us know.
Got it.
Okay. All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It does carry. I just have concerns, so. Okay, number 14, to consider Resolution 260221, a resolution contracting the Momentum Advocacy LLP as lobbyist for the city of Wyoming, the amount of $13,200. Mr. Linwood?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of council. As you're aware, we've continued to what I think is make meaningful progress towards securing state funding for our public safety facilities that support our police and fire services. As you know, the project is advanced. The city has purchased a dedicated building for a new facility that will both City Hall and the police, but we will be doing renovations as part of that project, and then along as well with the existing fire department, City Halls, strictly for the fire department. This concept has evolved. Why that it does though reflect normal project development. That's something feedback that we received often from state legislators in regards to, is there ways that you can look at the project or piece it up or look at ways to break it to try to go through this. So really in regards to what we've done, it's still, the project is still eligible in regards for the fire and the police portion. So staff has been continue to have conversations with legislators along with our contracted lobbyist Momentum Advocacy to move forward with trying to secure funding once again through this quicker session through the 2026 legislative session. Momentum has represented the city prior sessions, and we have established relationships with legislators, committee members, and many people on the capital investment community. We've had visits to all of our buildings from key legislators, including members of that Capital Investment Committee, and then also made numerous visits among to different committee member organizations or different things maybe that are hosted by Momentum Advocacy or different potential other opportunities to speak to those people. So we do believe that this is still a viable plan to try to do this. I know that we have not, the state has not come through with the bonding bill now for a few sessions. I'll probably let Ms. Allison Nessie speak a little more to this year why we feel that there is hope for that, and we think it is worthy to go through this year and see if we can't secure some funding towards that police and fire building. I think that through this project we've been trying to remain strategically and financially conservative to try to get 3 buildings done for quite a bit less than we were originally looking at, just a public safety building. And I think totally to add to that story, if we could secure some funding from the state for some of those fire services and police services. With that, I can stand for any questions, and if you'd like to hear from Ms. Nessie, she is here and available for questions as well.
You can bring the cute puppy too. Very well behaved. All right, Linda, are you to start?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. So it's my understanding that we have to have the state money in place before we bond, right?
Well, we should know that if we have the state money before, based on the quick session, because the session will be done in May.
So is that, we had talked about once beginning the bonding process in February. Is that going to be delayed until after the legislative session?
Yeah, we wouldn't be, based on, that was one of the original scopes of this, is potentially looking at bonding in February, but where we're at right now, along with, we still have both Bowler Architects and KA going through the design development as the council approved that. So we would have bonding later on as we get closer. We'd want to see the outcome of what happens in sessions. That should align fairly well with in regards to if the council were to approve going out for bid, and then we wouldn't probably look for construction of these to start in probably till the end of summer, if it were approved by the city council.
Okay, so everything's being pushed back basically to see what happens in the legislative session?
It would have still been pushed back. They've been going, essentially the architect and KA has been going through the design and the estimate, but just through the normal process of that, it was still going to be delayed a little bit. Right now, they'd probably be looking at potentially going out for the actual bidding, if approved by the city council, probably sometime in May or June. But we believe that we can line that up. As the session ends on May 16th, we believe we can be strategic with what the outcome of that is, along with our actual bonding when we move forward with that. Also, as a council knows, this will be broken up into 2 different projects. The first one being the initial for the fire and police, and the secondary when the leasee of the existing building, that lease is over, so we wouldn't look into construction for the police department until 2029.
So you could just bond for the first part and then try to get state money for the second part?
You could utilize that state money towards potentially the first part and the second part, and I can maybe let Ms. Nessie, in regards to the duration of that funding from the state is available. I believe there's a duration of years that it can be utilized, but it doesn't have to be all used at once, if I'm correct on that.
Correct. Mayor, City Council members, Allison Nessie with Momentum Advocacy, and you have 4 years to execute your grant contract with the state and at least make an initial draw. So you have to make a draw within 4 years.
And there may be something in regards to how they want us to utilize those funding, or maybe suggested. I want to speak out of turn, as Ms. Nessie is our expert here in regards to a portion of the fire or a portion of that police building. If necessary, we'd have to put those in the property buckets, essentially.
Yes, you have flexibility. What you need is for the state, for what you execute the grant agreement with the state, that total project amount has to be fully funded. So you can but there's flexibility in how you define what the total project amount is based off of the phase or the piece that you're funding.
So it just sounds up in the air. Now, I also heard that public safety buildings are not going to be a priority for anyone. I had a conversation with Senator Coran the other day. So if it's not going to be a priority, why hire a lobbyist if we're not going to get anywhere?
I think there are a lot of opinions on what types of projects will be competitive or not. That is an opinion. I would not take that as a fact. There are a lot of communities coming forward with local public safety, police and fire buildings because the cost is just not, it's the cost to build the facilities is not sustainable for just on the property taxpayers. So I would push back on that statement. That's again just an opinion.
Okay.
I will. Additionally, every single bonding bill that includes local projects has always included public safety facilities.
And I spoke with Representative Reimer, so he thinks that there's a good chance we could get it. So to your point, difference of opinions.
Difference of opinions,
Yeah.
not a fact either way.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
What are you gonna be, why do you think you'll be successful this time when you haven't been successful any other time?
Well, there's only been 1 year that has had a bonding bill. That was our first year, and it is not common for projects in their first year. You really have to get in the queue, and it takes a couple years being in that queue to be, I would say, because it's a competition, to be competitive. So this would be year 4. Last year is they did pass a bonding bill, but it was only for state assets, so only state agencies. There were no local, county, or city projects in it, so the demand is very pent up. You are kind of at the head of the queue because you've been at it for multiple years. The chairs remember, the members remember, so it's kind of get in line and wait.
Okay.
And it is a bonding year. Technically every year is a bonding year, but since it's not a budget year, the focus is on a bonding bill. You have 3 bonding chairs because we have co-chairs in the House. All 3 chairs very much want a bonding bill. So that's, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Nisi, I'm gonna add to that because I think we've been doing this, I think it's 5 years, Rob? You and I we kind of tried on our own.
Yeah, which
Failed miserably.
we learned out, yeah, there's definitely strategy to this, and actually being able to get to the right people and talk to the right people and actually have our project heard and seen, and having the Capital Investment Committee come out and actually see our projects, and momentum has been key to having this actually be brought forward to the appropriate legislators and actually make these projects known. And like I said, they have evolved a bit, and we'll be sharing some of that story with those legislators this session, but I have no doubt that momentum will share that story along with staff doing whatever we need to do to help share that.
Yeah, and I believe last year was the first year we were able to be heard, right? To be able to actually get in front of everybody, to be able to talk. How many different times have you brought us forward to meet at different events? I want to say, isn't it like 4 every year or some crazy amount?
We have had you at 4 of our caucus events, so
Every year.
Every year, and then we've also made sure that you've been at caucus fundraising events. So Rob actually spent a day at a fundraiser with Lisa Damath in a golf cart for 6 hours, so she knows everything in and out. And I'm sorry, Speaker Damath.
Yeah.
Everything in and out about the public safety project, and it's one of those things where it's like this is the year for local projects if there's a bonding bill. And it's always if, and you have taken the feedback of lawmakers, as particularly Chair Franzen, on looking how you could change the scope or could it be phased. So your acquisition of an existing building and moving in that direction is, you're
Phasing.
You're phasing. You're taking their feedback and you're coming back with a project that includes their feedback in it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think we could have gotten in front of so many people without having a lobbyist group. And I've been talking to a lot of cities and that don't have lobbyists that are like, we need a lobbyist group. So if that helps at all. So I'm sorry, Member Luker, I kind of took your time.
No, you're fine. You're good.
So go ahead.
I don't
Any
have any
questions?
I just want to pet the dog.
Yeah,
Everybody
she
should
would
bring a
love
dog
to
in.
be pet. So yeah, we had a daycare snafu, so
Oh.
she is going to. She's my assistant tonight.
Yeah, perfect. Do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay, Member Onstead?
I have no questions, but you asked both the questions I'm going to ask.
Thank you. Sorry, I took that extra time. I apologize for that. Can you stay for after the meeting for just a
Absolutely.
couple minutes?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 260221, a resolution contracting with Momentum Advocacy LLP as lobbyists for the city of Wyoming in the amount of $13,200. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second and third by Member Onstad and Member Lugar. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. All right, last thing on the agenda, thank you.
Thank you.
Last thing on the agenda is consider a work session on February 17th, 2026. Mr. Linwood.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is an annual activity for the city council. This is just to go through our strategic planning and goal setting work session. Last year, the city completed our goal session for our 2025 goals and initiatives. And those are goals that are really developed by the city council and used to help staff direct some of our work priorities and our normal day work assignments that we encounter. So we'd like to set a date for our city council 2026 goals and initiative work session. Staff is asking for that to take place on Tuesday, February 17th at 5:30 p.m.
Okay, did everybody check their calendars?
Good to go?
We're all good? Okay, I'll make the motion to approve the council work session February 17th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Member Lugar, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so approved. Council reports. We'll start with Member Lugar.
I attended the Joint Sewer Commission meeting. It was lively as always. That's all I've got. Thank you for coming.
Member Onstad.
I have no report. Thanks for coming.
Okay, we had park, right, tonight? Members?
No.
Park
No
is-
park tonight because of,
Park is next week.
is it next week?
On the
Oh my
9th,
gosh,
yes.
okay. All
So
right.
please come and attend that.
Yes, very true. Okay,
Bug.
let's see, Member Schilling,
I have no report.
Member Yeager.
No report. Thank you for coming and thank you for watching.
I also attended the Joint Sewer Commission, and I had the privilege of walking in the Torchlight Parade on Saturday. It was chilly, but it was wonderful. Mayor Herr brought back the Torchlight Parade mayor's invitation, and I'd like to thank her for that. There was probably 125 people there. I would say out of the 125, there was at least half were the mayors there. So it was actually very, very, kind of like the, yeah, it was a lot of fun. So actually a lot of fun. I just wish it was a little warmer. So with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn by Member Lugar. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at